In the view, you see three dolls. One is a Batat doll on the left from 1978, I think. Um, that's actually a Jack doll, an original Jack doll that's wearing a dress because I needed a doll with short blonde hair. Then you see my doll that I knitted, and sitting in the middle, and an American Girl Kaya doll. Now each of these dolls has a blanket, and this is a quick video pattern for a simple doll blanket. You can use it either way, with the stitching going this way or with the stitching going vertically. If you've seen my videos on Lacis and how to bulk up a say a worsted weight yarn into bulky or super bulky, that's what I did for these blankets. These are in, all three of them are in fisherman wool, two different types of fisherman wool. And you use a lucet, and instead of pulling the cord tight, you leave the stitches loose. You'll end up with stitches that are about an inch long on a lucet that size. You can even use a smaller lucet, such as this, and just work the yarn loosely and end up with stitches between 3/4 of an inch and an inch long. And it takes a lot of yarn. I believe I had just under 4 ounces of worsted weight, which I then worked with a lucet and then knitted up into a blanket on large needles. And the pattern, if you're using either bulky or super bulky yarn, if you don't have a lucet or don't like them, these are also in the same bulky weight. You can just hold yarn 2 strands together and use size 17 needles, cast on 17 stitches, and knit until it's about 12 inches. When this one has shrunk a little bit, but it should be almost a 12-inch square. This one's a little more square. It depends on the yarn that you have, and because this is a very good project for using up, say, 2-ounce skeins of different yarns. But these just happen to be made out of fisherman wool. So cast on 17 stitches on size 17 needles, and I knit until I ran out of yarn, and it was about 4 ounces, I think. Which, again, it is quite a bit of yarn, but it makes a cute little puffy doll blanket. And it's a good way to use up single colors. You can mix them together, like I did here with the red and the blue. Now, the yarn that I'm going to be making some more of these. And the yarn that I'm using, I just got this. It's Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo. There are 744 yards in this 14-ounce skein. It's bigger than my doll. It's huge. Now with 744 yards or 14 ounces, to make the blanket you need 4 ounces of bulky weight, bulky, super bulky. So what I'm going to do is use this and a lucet until I have about 4 ounces of usable yarn. So this was these were on sale for like $6 a piece, and it's 744 yards. So it's an amazing value. And the other reason, of course, it's acrylic, and worsted weight acrylic, which is perfect for doll anything, doll hats, doll dresses. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And again, it's a simple pattern. Cast on 17 stitches on size 17 needles and knit until it's about 12 inches square. It depends on how tightly you knit. And that will give you a very nice super bulky weight doll blanket. Now, as I had said, these are huge skeins. They're huge. They are center pull skeins, it looks like. Oh, no they aren't. They had stuck the beginning yarn into the end, but they are not. Oh, wait a minute. Here's the other end. Let's see if it works. It does. That's perfect. They are center pull skeins. Absolutely huge. They're a fairly soft yarn. They're not as soft as the acrylics I've been using, but they're an economy yarn. Now, I'm adding to this video one of my recent purchases, which is the Lacis Yarn Ball Winder 2. And there you see the picture. When buying these large economy skeins, and knowing that I'm going to need them broken up into 4-ounce balls of yarn, I bought the ball winder. So it's easy to use. It clamps to the table. I'm trying to think of the way I was doing this, like that. So you come, there's a leader arm that you have to put the yarn through. You bring it up under, and then under that forward loop, and you're going through the loops. You put your beginning yarn through the 2 slots at the top. When you first take it out of the box, this metal arm is pushed in. You have to pull it out so that it clicks into place, and it's your yarn guide. So you set it up like that, which I think you can see. Now, I'm not sure. It goes very quickly and easily on yarn that I've already had in balls and I wanted to neaten it up. But this is actually pulling it out of a very tightly packed pull skein. So what I'm doing is pulling a little bit of it out first, and then putting a little bit of tension on what I've pulled out. So it will take me a little bit longer until this yarn from the large Red Heart skein kind of starts pulling freely. Now, I did do one yesterday. I know about the size of a 4-ounce skein, a 4-ounce ball on this. It will wind up to a 4-ounce ball. That's about 2 ounces. But what I'm going to do is wind these like this, and I have a scale. I'm going to weigh them. And each doll blanket that I was just talking about, I will start with a 4-ounce ball of yarn in worsted weight before I use it on the Lucite to make it into a bulky or super bulky weight. Now this was about $26 at Amazon, and I think it's well worth the money. I want to get this about 4 ounces before I... Now, as I've taken some out of the center here, the yarn is starting to come out easier out of the large skein. So you just want to put a little bit of tension on it. And now it's pulling freely out of the large skein. And that, I think, is going to be about 4 ounces. So let me see how close I am. That is about, well, let's go a little. It's about 1/4 of an inch away from the outer edge of the winder platform here. but I've wound it just a little bit loosely, so I'm not positive it'll be 4 ounces. But so then the bottom part, just tuck around something there, and you just simply pull the whole ball off of the spindle. So let me pop this in the scale. And because it wound loosely, it's only about 2 ounces. So now, of course I could make 2 ounce, I could just make 2 ounce balls. Now because this is, I'm going to rewind it. And because it's going to pull out without a problem, I can put a little more tension on it and wind it more tightly. It looks like it wound just a little bit more tightly that time. But even if this ends up to be a 2 ounce ball, that will actually be fine because I have my scale, and if I need 4 ounces of yarn, I can just weigh each ball until I have the yarn that I need. But this is a wonderful product. I wound about, excuse me, about 25 different balls of yarn yesterday, very quickly, and it really is a wonderful product. $26 at Amazon, and I think if you're going to buy economy yarns in super large skeins like I did, I think it's almost a necessity. You know, even the fisherman wool yarn, those come in 8 ounce skeins, and it can get awkward having a large skein like that roll around on the floor as you're trying to knit. And I usually break them up and hand roll them into 4 ounce skeins, but now this will do that for me. So that one's just a little bit bigger. It goes right to the edge of the, before the platform turns down. So if I use that as a guide point, I will get consistent weight balls of this yarn. If each of those is 2 ounces, that's what I need to use with a lucite, 1 ball at a time, to get enough bulky weight yarn to make those doll blankets I was just talking about. So please excuse the dog, and if you get the chance, try one out. The Lacis Yarn Ball Winder 2 and Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Skein of worsted acrylic yarn. I also bought white, but the red is a wonderful friendly color, and it's great for doll things because dolls are always friendly.